my name is Edie Meeks, and I was at Third Field Hospital in Saigon from July 1968 to January 1969, and then I was at the 71st Evac Hospital in Pleiku from January until July. So I walked into the recruitment station and said, I'm a nurse and I'd like to go to Vietnam. And the woman who was there was like, wow, okay. So that's what I signed up for. I signed up to go to Vietnam. I went to San Francisco and they sent me to Vietnam, which was also quite bizarre because you go from America. Sure, you're in fatigues, but you go from America and you land in this country where everything is totally different and the mindset is totally different. You know, you're told when you walk, if you're staying in Saigon, if you walk down the street, don't kick the cans because they put explosives in the cans. And I remember I worked intensive care at the Third Field Hospital. And I remember one morning we had maybe 9 guys come in. And they had been standing on a corner waiting for a bus. And somebody drove by on a little motorcycle, threw something, and it exploded. And so they came to us. Luckily, none of them died, but it was really, you couldn't trust anyone. I remember we had a ward clerk, and he was a nice guy. One morning I came and I said, where is our ward clerk? Oh, he was killed last night. He was VC, and he was in a skirmish with our guys, and he was killed. And I still get choked up about it. And this was really the one that haunted me. And finally I had to deal with. And then it kind of opened the door to look at being in Vietnam. He was 19, and he was from a farm in Kansas. And he had a terrible abdominal injury. We had a lot of those, and chest wounds because the guys didn't wear their flak jackets because they weighed 40 pounds. And this kid got a letter from his mom, and so he asked me, would you read me the letter? I said, sure. And the mother said, oh, your dad and the family dog just came in from doing some pheasant hunting down on their farm and talked about what was happening in town and, you know, people that they knew. And at the very end, she said, we're so proud of you, son. And 3 days later, he died. And for me, that was really the epitome of the difference between being the general who's just sending numbers and being the nurse who's taking care of a person. Because every one of those kids that came by, you knew had a family that was waiting for him, or a girlfriend, or a wife. What you did was you just shut down. You couldn't keep feeling because it was too overwhelming. And because every time those guys would come in, they were my brother. And to see, I mean, my brothers are worth something, you know. They're really great guys. And so were these young men. What that year really, really harbored in me was huge rage at the government. Huge. But also overwhelming sorrow for the loss of these wonderful, wonderful young men and the potential that they had.